I have to just say, anyone who has doubted me over the past decade, this evil woman, now
They try to hide the files and they fail.
Going on. And Meghan and all the things that she has done to, pull other people to question their behavior will continue to you, Miss Meghan, what you have done.
2026, messy online. No warning at all to those yacht moments. New batch of photos dropped, and people started saying Meghan Markle believed these were buried for good. These are the same pictures have debated. No recycled clips. No grainy repeats trying to pass as news.
Meghan is at the bottom of the barrel.
In fact, I've seen this. I've got them somewhere. God knows where now. I've got them.
So you'll be Meghan too.
I've seen more than one.
This is brand new material that had been out until now. The images spread wild, pulling everyone into the conversation almost instantly. But what really has people locked in is what the photos reveal. Meghan is seen to look like private settings, the kind eyebrows fast. She has never publicly broken this down. And now, voices from Middle Eastern high society circles are getting louder than ever. Even more mystery situation. Some people in these images line up with what they have quoted for years about her early networking days.
The yacht girl. Oh my God. Maxwell spoke, so Virginia Roberts. They both talked about Meghan Markle, those to ignore it. And even now, with these pictures public domain, the press still refuses.
Sources tied to Gulf elite circles are now up, suggesting Meghan was not just showing up to random events. They say she was moving with building connections in Monaco and the Mediterranean, is usually locked off for serious money and influence. These were not casual or invite party and could walk in. The leaked photos to place Meghan private gatherings alongside powerful figures Saudi Arabia and other wealthy regions. That kind of act, not random, is tightly controlled and carefully managed. What is people really watching now is how silent these connections stayed for so long. Public till these images suddenly surfaced and sparked fresh questions everywhere.
The key line there, and the line that really interested me, was not a question about whether she was a yacht girl, but as a fact, and was it double or triple, and how many yachts she was on before she met Prince Harry.
With Meghan now focused on polished rebrand through Netflix project and lifestyle ventures, the timing of these photos popping up again has people questioning everything. It feels like someone wants this chapter of her past pulled right back into the spotlight when her being K-shaped public. There is a strong sense that this is not random, that someone is pushing to the version of her story bid right now.
You have to question that, and you have to address it, and it has to be something that we continue to talk about, because there is something that we need to find the pieces to. Because I believe if it was scrubbed off of the internet way before we even knew who Meghan was.
The question flooding comment sections is simple but heavy. Who leaked these images? And even more intense, what else is still being kept out of? If this much dropped all at once, we believe there could be more sitting behind the scenes, waiting for the right moment to surface. Second, these photos hit social platforms. The situation pulled everyone into these were old yachts to brush off like nothing. These images reportedly came from a collection that stayed hidden for years, until someone made to finally release them.
I want to ask Meghan Markle about her yacht girl past. To me, it feels like quite a moment. Because of course, there is so much about Meghan Markle's time on those yachts that we do not know.
And the second that happened, thing took off fast. The photos place Meghan across major Mediterranean hotspots earlier years, surrounded by every turn, private yachts, high-end designer settings, champagne flowing on millions, ground that business widely recognize. Within hours, social media was completely locked or new hashtags started timing fast, frame by frame, acting details in real time like a live investigation.
And I wonder if I come out and say, hey, I did your wife on yachts before you got.
The speed of how these images is what really has people paying attention now. Show a side of her story that has not really been publicly, and that is people locked in right now. What separates images from old debates is the clarity. There is nothing blurry or easy to dismiss here. People are saying the photos clearly place Meghan in environments she has never spoken of, raising direct questions about access, lifestyle, and influence. Now the conversation feels sharper and way more intense. People are asking how an stage was moving in circles like that doors, why these connections stayed out of public view for so long.
The reason why these pictures are so Meghan Markle placed with Jeffrey Epstein.
The questions are getting louder. Sources linked to elite international networks are now claiming these images match exactly what they were for years. According to them, Meghan was not just showing up to yacht events. They claim she was part of a network built around power and positioning in high-level spaces. This is a world where connections are quiet, global players move in silence, and where only certain people know how to operate it without drawing attention. One insider who has worked inside these environments broke it down in a very direct way.
Markle yacht claims simply will not go away. And you know I've spoken about this before, but until now, no one in the mainstream media has brave enough to go there.
They explained that these networks are all about relationship building, presentation, gaining access to events, traveling to restricted and keeping full discretion about who you meet and why. Nothing about it is random or casual. This is not simple socializing. It is high-level networking where reals are always in play. During her earlier acting years, some believe matched that closely, not widely at the time, driven, and suddenly showing up in exclusive international circles that seemed far beyond what her known income would suggest. People familiar with these spaces say that kind of access does not just happen on its own.
Being flown all over the suits, cast members didn't understand where she had the money to fly business class. All over.
They claim introductions are always carefully arranged, with the right connections opening doors behind them. Someone opens the door, someone vouches, and someone decides you belong there. That is how these environments really operate. And to insiders, Meghan's presence in those spaces followed the pattern, not something sloochai or accidental. Here is where things can get even more intense. Some sources are now claiming these newly leaked yacht photos come from outside or random viewers scrolling by.
This gentleman right here, that's Nick Jones, the original founder of Soho House. Guess who's going there? He's arriving at Meghan Markle and Harry's wedding as guest of honor. Oh, was present.
Instead, suggest them to someone inside those same elite circles, someone with direct access and first-hand knowledge of who Meghan was meeting and how those connections were built. If that is true, it raises bigger questions, because if one is the choice to release these images, then there could be deeper motives behind why this is all coming out right now. What else could still be private? That the question getting asked more and more as the situation keeps building.
I know what you're gonna say. Maybe it was just that one trip. No, there were quite a few. There's actually quite a lot of this about them. There are 2 pictures that leaked.
What is being discussed in international circles is said to be far more the general talk happening online right now. These photos appear to be at events where Saudi states were reportedly put at the same locations, at the same gatherings. For many people watching closely, overlap feels too random and starts pointing towards something more behind the scenes. The same facilitators known for arranging introductions between global power players are now being mentioned to connect to these events, which is only adding more to the situation. When you really think about how controlled these environments are, it raises even more questions. You do not just walk into gatherings filled with royalty and you are selected in because someone decided you had value in that space. That access is managed and it is detail getting so much attention right now. What stands out most in the photos now seen online is how comfortable Meghan appears in those settings, like she knew exactly how to move in those circles. She does not look unsure or out of place in those photos, and she definitely does not like someone who ended up by instead is confident, like she understood exactly how those environments worked and what was expected of her.
In my opinion, my analysis and my experience of decades, this guy is the real deal. Such as this of Meghan Markle with Prince Andrew years ago surfaces that will be quite.
That alone, what is pulling so many people into the conversation right now. Sources are also openly claiming that during those yacht years, built ongoing connections with individuals linked to Saudi and elite circles, not just conduct continued contact, involving travel, private events, and a strong level of discretion around those relationships. That distinction matters more than people realize. Ongoing access like that points to careful planning, and a level of trust within those networks is not easily given. And now, when people look closer at the timeline, these images begin to reveal even more layers than before.
Jessica Reed Krause's Inhabit investigation into Meghan Markle's Yacht Girl past, which she has promised and has spent 6 years working on. And I am licking my lips in anticipation for when she...
They are reported dated between 2008 and 2000, right in the middle of her early years, suggested she was still stability in Los Angeles. At the same time, these photos place her on luxury yachts in Monaco and across Mediterranean hotspots, hostings and especially around 2010. Some of these images where Saudi and figures were often present, which is why people connect more closely now. The same Monaco locations keep showing up, the same type of environments.
In 2006, Weinstein was there, but of course nobody was mentioning that she was
And even the same facilitators who have long been linked to connected business. That level of repetition is what is really driving the conversation right now. Then 2011 comes into focus. Gunland's Suits is where people start looking timeline. It does not follow the typical Hollywood path filled with endless audition and standard routes. Industry voices have for years found behind that opportunity, never fully explained. Now, with these images resurfacing, that gap standing out ever and raising questions.
Markle, I think she was 35 or 30 when she came into the royal family. Had a life, she was been married before, so pretty much clued up. And I think what's come into the royal family and this archaic control her and say, you will do this, you will do that, you will not go.
People are now asking what those years really involved, whether those connections played a role in opening behind the scenes. Because moves like that rarely happen without some kind of backing or support, pushing things forward. Then fast forward to 2016, when Meghan meets Prince Harry through Anderson and Soho House, and suddenly the timeline starts to feel more connected. By that point, she had already spent years moving within elite environments, learning how to navigate those spaces and herself in a certain way.
She was coming to New York all the time. She was in New York when Andrew was in New York for an entire month in September 2013.
And build relations that carried real weight. To many watching closely, it does not come across as random luck at all. It looks more experience built by step over time, with each connection to the next. The newly surfaced photos seem to reinforce that pattern, showing multiple yacht years, with similar appearing again in comparable settings. That kind of does not look like a one-time moment. It suggests a consistent presence in those circles that people are paying serious attention to.
Trained actress, what she does is that she studied good actress. She's been doing it her entire life. And there is no doubt that she studied Princess Diana, prisms towards her face, and this is the psychic elements of what she does, putting a private text next to her, saying that she put her hands on the conversation with her.
And when you see presence in spaces like that, it usually points to some structured hand behind the scenes. That is where the focus to shift even more now. Some people believe these photos did randomly at all. The timing is out in a big way, especially with Meg currently pushing it through lifestyle ventures and Netflix projects. Right at that moment, appear and completely redirect attention.
It's only who repeat their own narrative.
Yes.
They can control. So the truth from the success.
Which is why many are convinced this was planned, not rushed, not accidental, but released with a clear purpose. The kind of timing that the exact moment it biggest. Some think they held onto these photos until Meghan chapter of her life were past. It would not resurface, like it closed with nothing new left to reveal. Then suddenly, new images drop, and the reaction is intense. To many watching closely, it does not feel random at all. It feels deliberate, needing direct explanation.
The privilege is really strong here, and that's what she used as a weapon at the time. So there are quite a few things about her personal life. I'll work with another.
There is also growing speculation that this may have come from someone within those same elite, someone who may not agree with how certain events have publicly, someone who saw the narrative shifting and decided in their own way, quietly but powerfully. It could be someone with a personal issue, or someone certain getting pulled into wider. It could also be who believes should be out there for people to see. Whatever the reason, most people agree this situation does not look random at all. It looks planned from the start. If these photos are surfacing now in 2020 years after events, it points to patience.
Knew that you wanted to go back to LA and that Canada was always going to be from the very beginning orchestrated leaving the royal family because all she's ever wanted in her life was to be an A-lister in Hollywood. She did not have talent to become an A-lister in Hollywood. She was relegated to a D-list actress so-called Suits that nobody had seen, but apparently which Prince Harry liked.
It suggests someone held onto this material for a long time and waited for the exact moment to release it for maximum impact. And what these images are doing now is pulling focus back to a past that has never been clearly explained in public. Before this, discussions around this topic often brushed off or argued over without strong visuals to back.
I like to think would like that. Meghan likes to be number one. Meghan does not simply degrades his entire family, his entire legacy. And this is a different kind of embarrassment. She has mocked his tradition, his grandmother, the former Queen of England, and it seems like she did so.
Now people feel like there is something more concrete in front of them, something they can actually put to and analyze. So far, there has not been any direct response in these specific images. No added context, no detailed clarification, no explanation of what is being shown, just silence. And while the photos keeps, that is starting to become a story itself.
I think she was scared of coming back to this country, and quite rightly. The people of this country don't like the fact that she's stolen our prince, and she's literally brainwashed him, blinkered him, and tied him down to his California.
Some strategy for the attention to fade over time. Others see it as the conversation alive even longer. Because if there were a simple explanation, many but it would have already been shared by now. Instead, of answers is what is drawing even more curiosity, especially people following every detail closely. That leads to one clear takeaway. There are still parts of this story that have not been. People are starting to notice it more than ever. Now, when you focus on what is actually in front of us, things are getting more so to ignore. These new yachts in 2026 seem to show Meghan in elite settings during her early acting years, and that alone is enough to spark questions everywhere. The first question is simple. Access and events like Mediterranean gathering, global power figures, extremely expensive, not something just anyone can step in. So naturally, people are asking how that level of access was even at that stage of her career, because that is not a small detail. That's a key piece of the puzzle. The second question shifts to entry. These are not open events where anyone can show up freely. Invitations are tightly, and access usually comes through behind the scenes. That attention is now turning to who facilitated those opportunities and who made this happen in the first place. The third question starts to dig into the nature of those connections, and that is where things begin to get even more serious. The photo closed settings with only a small number of high-profile individuals present. That kind of environment suggests direct interaction, sluchai run-ins, and it pushes people to question how those relationships behind the scenes. Then comes the fourth question, and this is where the timeline starts putting everything together in a way that gets hard to ignore. How, if at all, did those experiences connect to her later opportunities? Because when you line it up, the shift stands out clearly. She goes from being a struggling actress to landing Suits and later meeting Prince Harry through Soho House connections, all after years of moving within elite international circles. That sequence is exactly why people are asking who are those and how much influence earlier relationships have carried forward. It is the kind of pattern that keeps the conversation going strong. Now, here is where things get even more intense. The fifth question takes center stage. Who is leaking these photos? And why now? These images for over a decade, and now suddenly everywhere in 6. People watching this unfold kind of does not feel accidental at all. It feels like a calculated decision. These are not just random ideas being thrown around online. These are direct questions by material that has only recently surfaced. Lack of clear answers is exactly what more people look, the more they start asking. Now take a closer look at in the middle of a major rebrand, Netflix project ventures, and a strong push to enter more relatable and grounded. Then, right in photos appear and shift her narrative in seconds. They hide a period where she was reportedly present in elite environments, building connections in high-level circles that feel far removed from image. Many observers The main question becomes how all of this fits into the public story being told right now. So now the conversation turns even sharper. How does this align with a relatable job being shown today? How does it connect with a narrative built around hard work and persistence alone? That, the question, hitting her now. Because to some, these images, there may have been additional factors involved, especially within influential environments that most people never near. Now, to be clear, networking itself is not unusual at all. Many industries run on connections, and that part is completely normal. What is drawing attention is the contrast between that reality and how the story has been presented publicly, and that is where things tighten up fast. These leaks boast something people cannot ignore. Someone may have held on to for years, waiting and choosing the exact moment when releasing it maximum impact. That kind of timing changes everything about how this is being viewed, because it means the story is not fully locked in the way people once thought. Some now see her public narrative as exposed to disruption, broken but definitely vulnerable to new information coming out. And once new images like this, controlling the full picture becomes much harder than before. And every new photo adds a past been fully explained, exactly why people cannot look away right now. Here is another angle that really stands out. The international side of these elites, especially those in royalty or state power figures, is known for at all times. What happens in those environments usually stays private, no questions asked. That is the unspoken rule. So if new images are surfacing now that seem to place mid those spaces, people are seeing that as a major shift. And if sources are starting to speak openly about past connections, it suggests that the usual silence around those circles be holding the way it used to. That alone is enough to tension-locked story. It signals that something behind the scenes may be changing. Some believe this shift tied to a gap in the public narrative and what insiders claim to know properly. And that tension is what keeps the conversation growing louder. Others think it is simply the result of growing attention, making it harder to out of focus, start looking at theories, same conclusion. Something changed, and people can feel it. And inside those circles are now allowing these conversations to surface. It suggests that a layer of protection to be holding did. Because in those environments, discretion is optional, at every level. Once level of silence, it becomes difficult in place. And that is where the bigger question into fast. If more people decide to speak up with information, what else could come out? More photos, more records, or details that have not been seen yet. All of it is what keeps people watching this situation so clearly right now. Some observers this is only the beginning, a one-time, but the first move in something bigger. Because if someone made the decision to reveal her past, there is a strong chance they could still be holding on to more been released yet. And here is where things start even more calculated. Some believe whoever leaked this is now closely tracking actions of platform and waiting for the moment to drop the next wave. That of time not be strategic, might not stop at just photos. People are already would include travel records or clearer details showing how those in behind the scenes. Some even think it could first-hand individuals who were actually present, describing how those high-level environments are everything private. And that possibility is exactly what is attention locked in right now, with more people watching it closely. Now, the position this creates. Meghan's options sit at this point. She can silent and let the quest continue to build, bond, and bring even more attention to details she has not addressed before. Either way, the pressure does not just appear, it stays right there. And that pressure is starting to impact her in a noticeable way. These yacht photos are challenging parts of the story she's been presenting and raising direct ones about transparency. Because now, high-level networking is being straight into the spotlight, and people are not ignoring it. That spotlight is only getting to take a look at everything surrounding this situation. The conversation is no longer just about themselves, they represent, and what might still be missing from the full picture. As more eyes turn toward this story, The focus is shifting toward comparing timelines, statements, and past interviews, to see how everything lines up. And when gaps start to appear, even small ones, they quickly become a major talking cross platforms. What is really driving the momentum now is the uncertainty. The fact that there are still unanswered questions is what keeps the discussion alive and growing. Because in situations like this, it is not always what is shown that has the biggest impact. It is what is explained, yet people watching something else at any moment. And that is what in this even further into the spotlight. People are not just reactively watching for what come next. Every new detail, every small connection is apart and analyzed across platforms. What makes this even more intense is how fast everything moves now. The moment something new appears, it's in minutes, pulling more conversation and new layers to the story. That kind of momentum is hard to slow down building like this. At the center of it all is one key issue: control of the narrative. Because when new information keeps surging from different directions, it becomes much harder to manage how the story is being told. And right now, that is exactly what people are watching closely, waiting to see if things will stay quiet again. And if things do suddenly go quiet, that silence will raise just as many questions as any new leak. At this point, people pay attention to every shift, what is said, what is not, and be happening in the scenes. What makes this moment stand out is how much attention is now a bigger picture. It is no longer just about isolated images. It is about patterns, timing, and how everything connects at different moments in the timeline. Is what keeps people digging deeper and refusing to fade out. At the same time, the longer this plays out without clear answers, the more speculation to grow. Speculation moves fast, especially when there are visuals involved that people believe raise real questions. That is why this situation is not slowing down. It is building with more people watching closely to see what happens next. And it is that still has not been fully explained. And that shift is what is making this situation harder to control by the day. The conversation is now moving into areas that cannot easily be redirected, and people are noticing every detail. So the big question right now is simple, but it carries real weight. Does more come out, or does stop? Because they already opened the door to something much bigger than just a few photos. We are talking about images pulled from private collections and by someone with insider knowledge, someone who understood timing, someone who chose over staying silent, and someone who knew exactly what kind of reaction this would create. And so far, there has been no detailed response, no added context, and no clear explanation of what is actually being shown. Just silence while the conversation keeps growing and more people keep watching closely to see what happens next. If you made it this far, drop your thoughts below, like, subscribe, and share this with someone who needs to see it, because this story might just be getting started.